Have you ever wished your parents could stick around in Australia for more than just a quick holiday? Really settle in for a while? Well, you're not alone. And that distance can be tough. Today, we're going to dive into one specific solution for that, the Subclass 870 sponsored parent visa. It's all about longer family reunions, so let's figure out if it's the right fit for your family. So let's just get right to the heart of it, shall we? Are you looking for a short visit, or are you dreaming of having your parents here for much, much longer time? Like 3, maybe even 5 years? If that's what you're after, then your typical tourist visa just isn't going to cut it. And that's exactly where the Subclass 870 visa steps in. Okay, so here it is. The Subclass 870 visa. The best way to think about it is like a long-stay visitor visa on steroids. It's specifically designed so that parents of Aussie citizens and permanent residents can come and stay for a solid 3 or 5 years at a time. For families who just want more time together, this can be an absolute game changer. So who can actually apply for this thing? The whole journey really starts with the parent. So first, let's break down their side of the checklist, because honestly, if these boxes aren't ticked, nothing else can happen. And you know what? It really boils down to 2 pretty simple starting points. What's the parent's actual relationship to the person sponsoring them in Australia, and how old are they? Let's get these 2 sorted out first. First up, the relationship check. And the definition here is actually pretty broad, which is great. We're not just talking about biological parents. This also covers adoptive parents, step-parents, and even parents-in-law. That's awesome news, especially for so many modern blended families out there. And the second check? Just as easy. The parent who's applying just needs to be at least 18 years old. Yep, that's it. A nice, clean, straightforward age requirement. Now, okay, listen up, because this next point is a huge deal. Unlike a lot of other parent visas, the Subclass 870 has no balance of family test, and that's a massive relief. It means the government doesn't care if most of the parents' kids live outside of Australia. This one little rule removes a giant roadblock that trips people up with other visa types. But look, your parents' eligibility, that's only half the story. The other half of this puzzle rests right on the shoulders of the sponsor, and that's probably you. Your part in this is absolutely crucial, and it comes with its own list of things to get right. And if there's one thing you take away about sponsorship, let it be this. It is non-negotiable. The actual visa application for your parent literally cannot be submitted until a sponsor, you, has been officially approved. It's not just some extra paperwork, it's a completely separate, mandatory first step. Okay, so we've got the parent's criteria and the sponsor's role. Now, on top of all that, every single applicant has to meet a set of standard requirements that the Australian government puts on pretty much everyone. Let's walk through those. These standards basically cover 5 main areas: your health, your character, your history with past visas, having enough money, and making sure you don't owe any money to the Australian government. We're going to focus on the big ones that need the most attention. Right, the health requirement. This one's super specific. The applicant has to get and keep proper health insurance for their entire stay in Australia. And here's the kicker. It has to be from an Australian provider. This just makes sure they're covered for any medical issues without putting a strain on our public system. Next up is the character requirement. This is pretty standard stuff for most Aussie visas. In simple terms, it just means the applicant needs to be a person of good character. And that's usually checked with things like police records from countries where they've lived. And of course, the financial side of things. The applicant has to show that they can access enough money to support themselves while they're here. The whole point is to make sure they can live comfortably without having to ask for help from public funds. Okay, let's hit pause for a second, because this next part is, without a doubt, the most important. Getting these rules wrong isn't just a small slip-up. It could sink the whole application. This is the fine print you absolutely have to understand. Let me say this as clearly as I possibly can. The Subclass 870 is a temporary visa. Full stop. It is designed for visiting, not for moving here permanently. And hey, don't just take my word for it. This is a direct quote from the Department of Home Affairs. They put it in black and white: you will not have the right to permanent residence. There's absolutely no wiggle room there. So what does this all boil down to? One core idea: the genuine temporary stay rule. You have to prove that your parents' real intention is to visit and then eventually to leave. And here's the most critical part. This visa actively blocks you from applying for a permanent parent visa down the track. It is not a stepping stone or a secret pathway to permanent residency. So let's do a quick final run-through, a mental checklist. Is the sponsor approved? Check. Can your parent pass the health and character tests? Check. Have you sorted out Australian health insurance and made sure there's enough money for the stay? Check. And the big one, does everyone involved understand that this is a temporary visa and not a path to residency? If you can say yes to all of those, then you are definitely on the right track. And that pretty much wraps up our breakdown. Now that you've got a really clear picture of the rules, the requirements, and the strict temporary nature of this visa, the final question is really for you. Is the subclass 870 the right next chapter for your family's story here in Australia?